Well, there appears to be new information on the Spyro DLC debacle. Apparently, there's a new bit of information floating around from Activision or Activision support from this picture that I've seen quite a bit. I'll show a picture of it. It is a back and forth between a individual named Dylan who asked Activision support, which I'm assuming is via Twitter, about the information regarding Spyro's DLC, whether the second and third game is on the disc, if it's a patch that we're going to be looking at, or if we got to download the games, stuff like that. It appears that, according to this Activision representative, whoever they might be, we don't know who's on the other side of the keyboard typing this message, they say, yes, all three games are on the disc. There may be a day one patch to update things, though. Now, I can see why some people will look at this and be like, oh, wow, see, there you go. We don't have to worry about it anymore. It's just a patch. Don't have to download anything. We can lay all that being worried, all that frustration about what if we don't know, we can lay it all to rest, right? No. I have a problem with information like this because, first of all, this doesn't count as an official statement from Activision. We got one of those already, and they weren't any good. So, and this doesn't really change anything because we don't know who this guy representing Activision is. If he's just a guy in charge of the Activision support Twitter, the guy who's just supposed to respond. We don't know who this guy is. Is he a creative director? Is he managing the game? Is he distributing the game? Is he in charge of any of that stuff? We don't know. So I'm going to have to put this kind of information into the trash because it's pretty much worthless, even if what they're saying may be true. Now, this does bring up a interesting point, nonetheless, about what exactly we're dealing with in regard to Activision's hiccup. From what I've been looking up since my last video, I think it's possible that we're getting closer to understanding what it might be. You know, keep in mind, this is all still speculation, but it seems like it is more than likely the issue here is that the second and third games aren't exactly complete, and Activision was doing what they can because legally they have to let us know what's going on with the game. So I guess their idea of letting us know was to update the package with the fact that we had to download, the games have to be downloaded, a patch or something via internet. And this isn't exactly any better because this only highlights a problem when it comes to the gaming industry. People have been thinking that Activision pretty much sealed this game as, it's gold, which means that it's pretty much done. It's in a good enough position to be sold. That's what it means when a game goes gold. Months or weeks before release, it's pretty much like the check. All right, let's get these games out and printed and copied and sent out to retailers, right? I think that's what that means, and I guess they were comfortable enough to announce that, going gold. Not that they've actually announced it. This is just people speculating because we don't know if the game has gone gold. We're just the consumer trying our best to figure out what's going on, dealing with a publisher who refuses to give us information about what we're going to buy, the product that we're going to give them money for, that apparently on some level they aren't finished with. And here's my theory. I think that they aren't finished with the game, and I believe now that they put that information, you gotta download DLC required on the disc to finish things up. And that's not okay. It's not as bad as some of the other ideas I was thinking it might be, but it's still bad because it just shows how willing a publisher is to rush things to the market for the sake of making a quick buck as fast as they can. Once again, I feel like I have to say this because people tend to misinterpret where the anger is directed. I'm not upset with Toys for Bob. Like I said, I believe that if they were in complete creative control, none of this would happen. They would work on that game until they were finished, and there's no way they would never let it leave their site until they were 100% sure that they were finished, complete, and the game was good and complete. Activision, on the other hand, tends to rush things because, they're a publisher. They're all about deadlines and meeting quotas and making a certain amount of money. What I think happened is that Activision probably gave Toys for Bob a set time. Like, you guys got until September 21st, no questions asked, no postponements, nothing like that. You guys got to get this game done before then. I have no idea when they started this project, but I feel as though Activision probably didn't give them as much time as they needed. I can imagine it going a little something like this. Think of yourself as an indie game developer. Like, you've been working with this team for a few years, and you've gotten pretty comfortable, and you're good. You're good. You know your stuff, and it's your dream job. And you may not have been able to work on Spyro that you wanted to when you first got onto the team, but hey, Skylanders, good enough for me. Suddenly, one of your associates comes running into the door like, guys, I got news. We just got the okay from the guys upstairs at Activision HQ that we get to remaster the original Spyro Trilogy. Everyone in the office erupts, everyone's happy, and then he's like, but there's a catch, because we are dealing with Activision. We got to do it in 12 months. So that's kind of how I see this whole thing playing out now. Activision gave Toys for Bob a not so good deadline or time frame to make this game, which prompts them to do the best they can with what time they have. And now, okay, once again, I gotta say this is just me speculating, guesstimating, but that's what it seems to be the case. And now we're getting closer and closer to the 21st of September, which is the launch date for this game. And I feel like what should happen now, if the issue is that they're not done with the game and they're just using these last 2 months to create a quick hotfix patch that needs to be downloaded off the internet in order for the game to work, the best thing I think they should do is, if there are any printed copies of that game, Activision needs to take a loss, burn those copies, and push back the release date. Because I don't see this ending in any good way if they're adamant on getting this game out on the 21st. Because it just seems like when you think of Activision, they have a lot of projects going on. And Spyro is, in their eyes, is probably a drop in the bucket compared to their bigger projects like, say, Overwatch. And I feel as though they probably didn't give Spyro the attention to detail, the respect that franchise deserved. They probably just saw it as a quick cash grab, quick buck, make it off of the nostalgia because Crash Bandicoot did so well. And they probably thought they could just get Spyro out in an even faster amount of time, despite the fact that we all know that game is much more difficult compared to its counterpart, Crash Bandicoot. Which is pretty sad. Either way, all the anger and frustration within the community, I understand. I understand that we're tired of it. I really wish this didn't happen, because I'm seeing a lot of YouTubers that I watch are like, they're literally bugged. They're hurt about this. It sucks. I almost hate hearing their voice, sound so down, because everything was just going so smoothly. Every week we got some new updates, saw some new artwork, saw new gameplay and stages. Like, man, this game looks amazing. And then all of that came to a screeching halt the minute this came out. And it's all on Activision. The people, who are throwing words at each other, I don't blame them for their frustration, because they're lashing out because they don't have the answers. The only people with the answers is Activision, and for some reason they think it's a good move to be completely quiet on this, which it's not. It's really not, because it's like the whole No Man's Sky issue. When the game came out, it was not as good as people thought. Sean Murray and Hello Games just went dead quiet for 3 months. And throughout those 3 months, that whole community was in utter chaos. And now we're getting that same treatment for Spyro. Which is a shame because it's Spyro. It's Spyro. It's Activision. Yeah, and these companies, man, I really feel like there needs to be, we, the consumers, really need to hold these companies responsible when they do stuff like this, and really make it clear to them that we're not okay with this. Stop short selling us. Stop treating the developers who are making your games like trash by giving them impossible to meet deadlines, stressing them out, and forcing them to end up being the first to take the brunt of backlash when something goes wrong, when it's clearly your fault, Activision. This is all on you. Completely all on you. And I hate seeing all this this great divide within the community, because you got so many people trying to keep things together and just to avoid the drama. You know, this was supposed to be a drama-free thing. Like, oh man, Spyro game remastered, easy. Should have been a smooth sailing, but you know, count on Activision, a multi-million-dollar publisher who's more concerned, seemingly, with money than integrity. And it just kind of goes back to what I was saying in my last video about the integrity of gaming is constantly degrading because of moves like this by these multi-billion-dollar publishers, because they don't care about the game anymore. They just want to make the money, and everyone else suffers. Like I said, Spyro to them is probably a drop in the bucket. They could care less, which shows based off of the terrible response we got to this, you know, when we brought this to them, and they just said some bland boilerplate, got that word from Jan, canned response that amounts to nothing, doesn't answer any questions, doesn't put anyone at ease, and it's gotten so bad to where fans are desperately trying to cling on to any information they get that might resolve some of their anxiety about all this, like this Activision support message to this guy named Dylan. You know, this isn't gonna cut it as a response from Activision, because you know this is nothing. This is meaningless until we hear from Activision. We're pretty much stuck in this endless loop of back and forth. But that's my 2 cents on this whole issue with the you know, with this new piece of information. I'd say don't count on anything until you hear from the horse's mouth. And right now, Activision seems pretty content with keeping their lip sealed for some reason. I just hope for the best. I really hope this game still receives a smooth launch. I really hope things still, at the end of the day, after all this is over, at the very least, I hope that the game is good. That's what I'm hoping for now. But until then, guys, let's just try to relax, take it easy. Might be best to kind of, you know, play something else until this all blows over, because we've got another month and a few weeks left. So hang in there. We'll make it through this, guys. We'll make it. Until then, this is your Immortal Afro. I'll see you guys next time.